Here's our game, Bubble Yaga. Very nice looking. As you guys saw from our last presentation, it's a tic-tac-toe roguelike, but I think roguelite would be more accurate for it in its current state. We've completely revamped the game, added a bunch of changes, including new mechanics, such as the mutator mechanic here. And I will now leave the rest of my team to talk about it while I play through it.
Yes, it's been a busy 2 months for us. Most of us were either freshmen or our second year, so we have not had an experience with a large project such as this, and we have learned a lot while doing it. The code, we have like nearly quadrupled the number of lines written, which is quite impressive for 2 months. I guess I can talk about some of the mechanics we've added. I should mention this. This is our first time with Godot as our engine. Although, to be fair, it's our first time using any major engine for it. For commercial game design, in a sense.
Dude, why are we getting the same enemy? This is crazy.
There is multiple enemies, although it appears the random number generation has decided to be cruel. We have Natalie, our artist. She's added a lot of art. Do you know the number or anything?
I would say there's a total of 3 new common enemies, 2 bosses, and one of them is the Bubble Duck, which is a cute little duck that comes together with a bunch of bubbles. They all have have little faces themselves, and a couple of them have different gimmicks. There's one that you're hopefully going to see soon called the Coward Bubble. That one is not very strong, has a lot of health, but it's much stronger than the rest. We're going to come back to the shop here, the new shop screen. This is our mysterious shopkeeper, Muila, and you can collect things like relics and brand new. When it comes to all the assets, basically everything has been almost completely revamped, including things like the backgrounds, Muila, the main character's sprites, and one of the big things I noticed is I wanted to add a more storybook texture to all of the artwork. It's going to appear more like a cozy kind of storybook look, with keeping those like very nice pastel colors. So I'm going to hand it over to Grace to talk about the music.
Oh yeah, you can hear how the music is so much different than the beta version. I spent at least an hour on each segment of it. I made sure to add a lot of layers to make it like more story-like, make it a nice feel. There are more songs that we're supposed to add, but they're not currently working, and they're not currently implemented into the game yet. But there's like 6, I believe, that I've made so far. That should be added.
Yeah.
Yes. Tristan, do you want to talk about how you've developed the UI? Or...
yeah. On my own, I've done a handful of the more basic UI elements, such as the hearts or the suds in the top there that count as your money, as well as doing the layouts for most scenes, such as the fight scene we're looking at now. I've taken the art that Natalie has graciously done for our game and composited them into their own animations for attacking, taking damage, idling, and so forth. I've done some good work on just making sure everything sort of flows together. We have some scene transitions we didn't have previously.
Just want to show off the inventory really quick.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the scene transitions are very nice.
Let's see. What else to note on? Suppose I made the health in the sides radial as well as just ticking down the numbers so that you have more of a visual feedback in terms of how much health you have left based on your max health at the moment. It does, whenever you get items that increase your health, scale to the amount of health that you currently have, so you'll have smaller slivers of health missing for larger amounts of health based on the damage. And so forth. Lots of visual updates, I'll say.
Yeah, even the tic-tac-toe board is different in game. Looks very nice now.
Oh yeah, the main thing I just entirely forgot to say.
Yeah. So, after this, whether we win or not, our definite focus is we've gotten a lot of the base systems in, and we'll be focusing on adding in the content. For example, currently, the second level is in the game. It's just not connected.
You can kind of see it here. This is the background for the second area.
Yep. With brand new enemies. Just a few bugs away from being playable.
Yeah, sadly, the second area is pretty much done and in the game. We just did not have enough time to fully implement it without it being a buggy mess, so we've left it out for now. But yeah the second area will have new enemies.
Environmental effects. That would be
a new mechanic. Go ahead.
We'll also be focusing on improving the AI. We have a lot of plans. We've done a lot of research for different ways to have AI make tic-tac-toe more interesting. We just need the time to implement it. As you can see, I Noah's one can show the ending. Alright, real quickly, because we're very proud. Noah, can you show the PowerPoint showing all the differences?
I sure can. I can speed through this really quick since it's not really a presentation, more so just showing the differences. So, from the original Game Jam version to our new version, we've done quite a few changes. We actually have a settings menu, better visuals.
Some visual stuff is one of the big things that we decided to change. Is we made the new art style more on the same realm. If you notice, a lot of the older ones had a lot more like the taller art style. Now we're kind of focusing more on like the cutesy, like chibi style for it. And almost all of the sprites and backgrounds have been revamped. Very few assets have been reused. We want to, and when we're going through, we're going to do a lot more animations. We're hoping to make full-on animations for the attacks and hopefully to make a lot more areas. We already have at least one more planned besides the two that we mentioned. And I think that's just about it.
I'm ready now for questions.
Excellent. Good stuff. Remember to post your questions in the chat. JY says, the colors are pretty. Dreamchild on Twitch says, you changed the art. We all made fun of random number generators for a little bit too, I'm sorry to say.
We love
they're very easy
generators.
Dreamchild said, still love the animation. Rachel LaCroix said, slay the spire.
That was a very big inspiration.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's talk about Godot. Because we're starting to see more of that popping up. What were your favorite bits of working with Godot? What were your least favorite bits?
It compared to I'm sorry, I can't really compare it to anything other than Unity, as that's the only engine I've experience in. But it is much simpler and much faster to develop in. A good example of this is rather, if you've ever worked with Unity, you have to individually search for each game object and then look inside of them for the component, and that really makes your code hard to read with like tens of functions just to do basic mechanics and stuff. And Godot, it uses a node system, and I don't exactly get it, but instead of looking for each component, you just point at the object. So for example, Muila, and if you just want to change your color, you just go dot color, or it's called modularity in the code, and you can make her more red or something. So I really like that aspect of it, being able to prototype quickly, test stuff quickly, and not really fight the API. Difficulties-wise, there has been a few issues with
Understanding the logic of the code.
Well, yes. Although that's not real. Godot still has the same issue of Unity. If you've ever worked on a large project, or really anything object-oriented, where it's kind of hard to step through the logic. We've definitely had a bit of issues working as a team on a code base with we're approaching 50 different files of code. But we're working through it. Very sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's good. Michael Revitt had a good comment on that. An easy way to think of it is that Unity nodes, game objects, have a script. Godot nodes are a script. And Michael, you mainly work in Unreal, don't you? Michael also said, awesome work. I also really love the color schemes. Very calming and nice to look at. Yeah, it's very interesting how these different engines now are all node oriented, but handle nodes very differently. So pretty fascinating. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about your next steps for this game.
Okay. So Bubble Yaga, we have a lot of things that are about to be done. We just need to put a little more work on them. So we're going to be doing pretty consistent updates on this, and we'll be posting them on the itch page. So some of our next plans are, like we said, we want to finish that second area. We want to get the rest of our musician Grace's music in. And then we're just going to be adding more to the game. So we have more areas that we've already planned past the stuff that we already have made. More mechanics in. We want to make the game even more of a roguelike. So we have an actual randomized shop instead of set items. So yeah, really just whatever we have now, put more onto it.
Yes, as I said, we'll be working a lot on researching better ways to make the AI and the basic tic-tac-toe more interesting.
Yeah, lots of balancing changes.
Yeah, and having effects that deal damage, or maybe they destroy the next tile you're using. Mechanics to make the basic tic-tac-toe much more fun.
Yeah, it will not just be regular tic-tac-toe for the entire game when we're making it, do not worry.
Yes.
All right, great. Yeah, go ahead. One last thing.
One last thing. We do have a online version as...
Oh, yeah, you can play it on itch. If you go to our itch page,
don't have to download it. That is a cool mechanic, although the reason we had to do it is our mentor, we have not been able to recreate this bug with anyone else, cannot run the EXEs. So
ouch.
Yeah, if the game does not run when you download it, feel free to use the itch page.
Indeed.
We also have a YouTube channel and a Twitter account, both of which are going to be showcasing, as time goes on, we're going to be showing exclusive art and dev progress.
Love
We'll
dev
put that
blogs. I
Yeah,
love
you
it.
would.
Under our company name or
Yeah,
studio
Sea
name?
of Slugs. Yeah, we're going to be posting devlogs. We're going to be posting updates on both of these as well as the itch page.
All right. Excellent, excellent. That was the incredible Bubble Yaga. Say goodbye, Bubble Yaga.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for having us.
До свидания.